I decided to do this one as a video this week just because you can see exactly how this process goes. When I do this on Friday and I take one of my songs and I try to make it into an actual song, verses, chorus, everything, I kind of do it improvised in a fashion. Last night I spent about 20 minutes trying to come up with something. I'm usually in drop D. The hardest part to come up with was a riff for this because it's based off the Coheed and Cambria song "Welcome Home." But I realized sampling stuff is probably not wise to do. Me doing that might be a copyright infringement. I don't know how it works. So I'm 100% honest. This is based on Coheed and Cambria. This is based on Kashmir by Led Zeppelin. When I was trying to do the verses, this was the it was definitely a rip off of Kashmir. I knew I wouldn't be able to use that and be like, yeah, I made that up myself. That's definitely Kashmir rip off. Even if I'm sure that's not how they play Kashmir, but yeah, the Coheed song is very similar to Kashmir. It's just an amazing chord progression. Like there's probably a lot of songs using that. Dun, 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 dun. You know, the Kashmir, it just sounds so good. It's hard not to copy it when you try to come up with something. So I had to come up with something different because I didn't want to be accused of ripping that off because it sounds just too much like it. So it's Drop D. This is from my digital incineration album that I wrote around 2020. It's the first one that I wrote dealing with my COVID experience. And it's a concept album of a man driving in his car alone during the initial stages of the apocalypse. So he's just driving in his car alone. Before each track, he's tuning the radio, trying to get reception as it gets weaker and weaker as the album goes. So before each song is like a little snippet of what he's listening to on the radio, because that's kind of what inspired me to write each track, each of these 12 tracks. These are rap songs for the most part, and I'm not going to try to rap this because it's kind of more of just a spoken word song. This one, it's called Crime and Punishment. I did read that book. I read three books by Dostoevsky around 2020, 2021. The Idiot, which is probably my favorite book now. Crime and Punishment, and The Brothers Karamazov, which was really hard to get through. That was the first book I read in 2020, I think. Either that or Steppenwolf. I forget. But yeah, this is based on that book. I think I read it while I was reading it or right afterwards. There's also a Woody Allen movie with Scarlett Johansson, and it's kind of, I think so, right? It's kind of based on that Crime and Punishment. I forget what it's called. But it's just it's like a Columbo episode. Like it's pretty much just a detective story and temptation, morality. It's a good book. It was the easiest one to read from Dostoevsky because he gets kind of crazy, man. But I'm gonna try to just play this as easily as I can, demonstrate what I'm playing. It's in drop D. I think I'm tuned correctly, but I don't really know anymore. I'm just gonna play it and see if I can make it into a song. This is what, like my sixth or seventh time doing this, I think. Every Friday I've been doing this. I try to do it in like one or two takes and then just be like, this is how the song goes. I could spend 5 hours trying to make it sound better, trying to make my guitar sound better, trying to make my vocals sound better. And it's not going to sound much better than if I try one or two takes. So I like to do this as quickly as possible. And just then I could have the blueprint of how the song goes. And who knows what happens with it in the future. But I really like this album. Every song, it's probably bad to make this my first like rap attempt or hip hop attempt to write an album like that, because everyone is like sampling something, and of course that's way too much money, right? To sample other people's stuff. I want to sample John Lennon Mind Games and like Willie Nelson song. I want to sample Stevie Wonder stuff. I just want to sample like 20 songs on this album because that's how it came out in my head. If I can't do it, I just have to make stuff up. But this is a good example of, yeah, I owe this song to Coheed and Cambria, specifically Welcome Home, because I've always loved that song, man. It just kicks. And Led Zeppelin, Kashmir, like, they're just classic songs that are always going to be on the radio because they just, I don't know, they're different, man. Some songs just hit you differently like that. But I'm going to try to do this as the best I can without messing up too much, because my normal process is to just jam for maybe half an hour and then edit the audio clip, split it up into different files, and then put it on Substack, put it on Medium, and then be done with it. Put it on YouTube and be done with it. So I'm going to do it differently this week to kind of show you the process I've been doing. So this song is called Crime and Punishment, and ideally, yeah, it would be cool to use the Welcome Home riff. So like the first verse. By the letter of the dun 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 dun, bring the fire to the pub, dun dun dun. Isolate the daily docket, stick their memories in the socket, dun 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 dun. You get the idea. Like, it's just ripping, sampling the Coheed riff and putting different vocalizations on top of it. And yeah, I did have a Kanye in my head when I was doing this. It was like his style, like almost like a Jesus Walk song. I didn't talk about the hook yet, but the reason that came up is because he uses the gospel choir, like Jesus Walk, and that was in my head when I wrote the hook for this. I'm gonna try to sing it. It goes, I'll do the hook right now because this is one of my favorite hooks that I've done, not just on this album, but any album in general. I hear it with a gospel choir, like really powerful, belting it out, even like modulation at the end, like Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror, when I do the modulation part. I don't know if they go up a step, half a step. I don't have the ear for this, and I don't think I can do modulation myself. I didn't try to practice it, but the hook is pretty simple. It's just a D chord. What a beautiful life. What a wonderful time to be alive. What a terrible crime. What a treacherous path to paradise. What a beautiful, something like that along those lines. But if you can hear it with a gospel choir, what a beautiful life, and they just go crazy with it. What a beautiful life. What a wonderful time to be alive. What a terrible crime. What a treacherous path to paradise. What a beautiful, something like that. It'd probably be, what a beautiful, what a beautiful, what a beautiful life. What a wonderful time to be alive. What a terrible crime. What a treacherous path to paradise. What a beautiful, I can't do this justice, but I hear it in my head like a gospel. That's why I said it was influenced by a lot of the Kanye stuff. Specifically the Jesus Walk song, because it gets all gospel on that one. So I'll try to get through the verses now. The verses, originally I was like, but then I was like, it's too much like Kashmir, so I went like this. I forget it now too. Alright. That's gonna be the first edit right there. I'm gonna edit that out. I forget how it goes now. By the letter of the tyrant, bring the fire to the public. Isolate the daily docket, stick the members in the socket. Just having fun with Mother Nature, nurture patience and sedation. Freedom falling farther from relations, freedom paralyzed their faces. God, money, flock money, stock money. Yeah. The verses, like I said, I didn't want to copy it like the Kashmir. So I had to improvise something different. This could change, but a general 4-chord progression. By the letter of the tyrant, bring the fire to the public. Isolate the daily docket, stick the memory in the socket. Just having fun with Mother Nature, nurture patience and sedation. Falling farther from relations, freedom paralyzed their faces. So something like that. It's a little aggressive side in terms of the lyrics and the music. It would be electric instruments for this and loud drums, very heavy thrashing stuff. After those two lyrical passages, it kind of goes like, God money, flock money, stock money, rock money, God money, crop money, lock money, mark money, isolation, veneration, talking head manipulation, take a permanent vacation from the national vibrations. Now, I'm not sure about this transition to the chorus. It's a little bit weird. I haven't figured out exactly how I would do it, but originally I wanted to have a riff leading to the chorus, something like, something like that. I'm messing it up already, but something like that. Something simple just to be a transition moment. I already played how the hook goes, but from that, what a beautiful life. It's almost a bipolar song because the verses are kind of dark and heavy, and then it just goes out of nowhere into this like angelic gospel choir as the chorus. So it's very bipolar song, just like out of nowhere it becomes all joyous and like you're in church or something. What a beautiful life, what a wonderful time to be alive. What a terrible crime, a treacherous path to paradise. What a beautiful, what a beautiful, what a beautiful, what a beautiful life. What a wonderful time to be alive. What a terrible crime, what a treacherous path to paradise. What a beautiful, what a beautiful. And then from there, I would just go to the next verse. By decree of our creation, implement the relegation. Every network, every station, in the clouds of great temptation. Summon demons, let the plagues rain. Who will justify the starving? Who will shine on when the sun's burnt? Who will lead us to the unknown? God, money, block money, stop money, rock money. God, money, crop money, lock money, mock money. Now, there's also a weird part here. This is completely out of the blue, whatever I come up with. I'm not sure how to approach this. I picture this as like when you get to that last thing, mock money, it would just stop and kind of go silent. And then there's like a preacher talking. When the time for celebration, light a candle for the wasted, destitute, incarcerated, suffer fast and let the pain set. And then, what a beautiful life, what a wonderful time to be alive. You get the idea, right? It's something dramatic like that. This whole song is the hook. The hook is just my favorite part of this like whole album, pretty much. This is my writing style in a nutshell. I'm trying to make it cinematic with darkness and light, trying to blend it together and stuff. Because it's like a movie in my head like that. Especially this album. This album could be like almost like an animation accompanying it. So that's basically it. When you get to the bridge, it would kind of just be silent, maybe just like background ambience. When the time for celebration, light a candle for the wasted, destitute, incarcerated, suffer fast and let the pain set. What a beautiful life, what a wonderful time to be alive. What a terrible crime, what a treacherous path to paradise. What a beautiful, what a beautiful, what a beautiful. Now that's where the modulation will come in. I don't know how to do technical stuff like that. You go up to just the next chord. What a beautiful life, what a wonderful. So it goes up a full step. Is that what it is? It goes from D to that. What a, I don't know. What a beautiful life, what a wonderful time to be alive. What a terrible crime, what a treacherous path to paradise. You get the idea. For people who know how to compose that stuff, I just think if you're gonna have a gospel choir, it's cool to have it full on this song. There might be a couple more songs on this album that would call for a gospel choir, but this one has like the best epic moment. This could be a radio song. I see it like that because of the hook. Yeah. Even if I can't get like Coheed, I can't get permission to do the riff. You could still make something else. I'm saying, but I would still pay thanks to Coheed because they led to this song. Just that riff I heard, and I was like, that would be really cool in a rap song. and that's about it. I don't think I want to do much more than what I'm doing now. This is already at 20 minutes. I might edit some of this. I don't know yet, or I might just show you this unedited version to show you how I'm doing this. I'm not taking 2, 3, 4 hours to try to perfect this because it's not going to get much better than I'm doing now. Can I get through the whole song without having mistakes and stuff? Sure, but that's not the point of this, really. I could practice this for a week and I could be like, know it by heart and everything. But right now, I just want to show the framework of the song because I want to make these into real songs. It's not about me being able to perform them because I'm never going to be able to do that. I could do a different version like I just did, but the magnitude, the power of having a gospel choir doing this song is what would make this song like a hit, in my opinion at least. What a beautiful land, what a wonderful time to be alive. And whatever the modulation, I'm not sure. I never tried to really compose a song like that, but I do notice it in music. Specifically the Michael Jackson song, "The Man in the Mirror." That one always hit me, man. I love that song. That song. I made a Spotify playlist. Anytime I hear modulation, I try to put it on there, just to. It's in a lot of songs. You don't even realize it until like something sparks in your brain, like oh they went up a key or whatever it is. Even like No Effects. No Effects uses that stuff. So it's in like more music than you think it would be. But I'm at 22 minutes. You get the idea of how the song goes. There's a story involved throughout this whole album, and this is probably my favorite song just because of the hook. I think it's the best hook I've come up with. Um, Not every song samples something, but if you go on my Substack page, you'll see all the songs that inspired these tracks, and it's all over the place. But that's basically how it goes. The verse is very simple. It still sounds like Kashmir, but I had to rearrange it to give it a little bit of a different than if I just played it like that. Yeah, but you can see this song is clearly inspired by Coheed, clearly inspired by Kashmir. I'm not trying to hide that fact or like steal their stuff. I wrote it like, in my Substack that as the guy in this concept album is driving wherever he's going during the apocalypse, he's driving and he's tuning the radio, and the song he tunes it to is Coheed. And then in my head, my ideal vision would be the Coheed riff just kicks in and the song starts. But that's a general framework of every track on this album. I did another one. I did "Don't Bully the Doorman," one of my earlier ones. So this is the second song I picked from this album. I wanted to show a rap track because I knew that would be hard to do. Last week I did a punk one. This week I wanted to try a rap thing, but it's not really rap. It's just spoken word. Like I'm not rapping it. By decree of our creation, implement the relegation. Every network, every station. That's not really rapping. Like I can't do much more than that with my voice, my breathing, my breath control. I can't do much more than that. In the clouds to brave temptation. Like, that's all I can do. Summon demons, let the plains rain. Who will justify the starving? Who will shine on when the sun's burnt? Who will lead us to the unknown? God, money, flock money. And there's other bits and pieces I could talk about, but this is already 25 minutes, so I'm going to cut it here. Hopefully, you get an idea of how this song goes. That's all this is for. It's just to show how the song sounds in my head, and I'm trying to get it out there in the simplest way possible without wasting like 5 hours to do this. So, yeah, that's it.